Welcome back to the shop. I have a 2022 YFZ450R here, and the fuel pump is bad. So in this video we will be diagnosing the fuel pump and replacing the fuel pump. Hey guys, you're gonna have to quiet up a little bit. I'm trying to make a video here. This is a pretty common issue with these YFZ450s from 2009 to the current model, the fuel injection models, to have the fuel pump on them. And it happens mainly when people let them sit around for a while. It doesn't take long these days with the ethanol in the fuel, but even non-ethanol fuel, like your recreation fuel, can cause this issue as well if you let the bike sit around for a while. It just starts building up condensation in the fuel pump, in the gas tank, water, stuff like that. It just makes the fuel pump go bad. Hey Beavis, you're gonna have to be quiet too. You are making too much noise today. Dang it. I do a lot of fuel pumps in these YFZ450s. It's mainly, I do more of these than the dirt bikes, the fuel injected dirt bikes. And I believe that's because the dirt bike guys typically ride their bikes more often. A lot of your quad guys are kind of more seasonal or fair weather riders. They'll park their quad, they'll forget about it for months on end. But we'll talk about more of this as we dig into it. Let's dig into it. First thing I'm going to want to do is take off the seat. Right. And anytime I'm working on a electric start bike, I put them on the battery charger right away. Okay, got the battery charging up. And next thing we're going to need to do is remove this cover right here. Now, like I said, I've already diagnosed this. I know it does not have fuel pressure, but I'm walking you through this if you were doing this at home. So they have these nuts things right here, and the little plastic stuff down here. You remove that. Oh, you got to remove the gas cap. Pull this cover off. Let me go take a whiff. The fuel doesn't smell that old, so, and that happens quite often. What happens is people put fresh gas in them after they sat for a long time. There might have been a little bit of old gas in the bottom, or no gas, and maybe dried up, and they put a little bit of gas in it. So as long as the gas smells fresh, I'll just replace the pump and run it. But if the gas smells old, you're going to have to get the fuel out of the tank and start with some fresh fuel. Okay, let's go ahead and test the fuel pump. Well, let me turn the key on. You can take a listen here. Let me take this cap off so you can hear it better. Alright. You can hear the fuel pump, but it doesn't sound very smooth. It's kind of like bubbly. That's usually one indicator that it's probably gone bad. Another indicator is you hear nothing at all. And sometimes they sound just fine. They just don't produce the proper pressure. Okay, so let's go ahead and test the fuel pump's pressure. You need to take the fuel line off. They have this little plastic safety cap. These roosters are crazy thick. Now you can buy these fuel line pliers or whatever, or you can just use your fingers. There's two little tabs in here you can press hard. I'll try to do it with my fingers real quick to show you it can be done. There it is. But if your fingers aren't strong enough to do it, you can buy one of these on eBay or whatever. They're not that expensive. One cool thing about these bikes is they come with this right here. And what this does is it allows you to plug this off so no trash gets into that end. And then you can plug this side off too if you're pulling off the tank or whatever. But we're going to be testing the fuel pressure, so we need to leave that off. Let me tuck this out of my way if I can get it to stay. Holy cow, these chickens are nuts today, guys. I'm sorry about that. Let me get my gauge. We ended up with 3 roosters and they're just... oh man, they're noisy. Okay. You see that on camera? Yeah, you can see it. Okay, I'm gonna just flip the switch on. Let's see what we have. Not much. You can see it move a little. I'm gonna call that a half a PSI, maybe a PSI. And this bike's supposed to produce about 50 PSI, right? I've seen them as low as like 45. I've seen them as high as 55, but they're supposed to be somewhere around 50. If yours is somewhere around 50 and it's running good, don't worry about it. If it's 47 or 52, not all fuel pressure gauge, they're not all accurate. They're usually pretty cheap, like that's a Harbor Freight one. But all right, we got to pull off this electrical line. So there we go. See if I can get all this stuff to stay out of my way for a while. Alright, there we go. We have some 10 millimeters there we need to remove, so let me go get my impact. Alright, let's pop her off. Uh-oh, yes, fuel dripping out here. Let me put this one back in. Alright. Let me go ahead and remove some fuel out of this tank to get it below the level of the bottom of the fuel pump there so we don't drop a bunch of fuel on the floor. I'll be right back. Okay, back at it. Alright, time to pull the fuel pump on out of here. Set that right there for now. Be gentle when you pull it out because it does have this low fuel level float. You don't want to damage that, especially if you're planning on rebuilding this fuel pump. Alright, let's go to the bench. Okay, at the bench here. Alright, we have the fuel pump motor right here. And then we have a fuel pressure regulator right here. Now, if you're going to attempt to rebuild this, there's two kits that I can suggest that I've had good luck with. Be careful with the really cheap ones on eBay and Amazon. If you go with a rebuild kit, either use a Quantum or All Balls. Them two kits, I've had good luck with them. And if you're going to rebuild it, well, you have to take this plastic housing apart and you have to follow the steps. Now, we have a brand new one to put in, so I won't be rebuilding this one. But I will put a link in the description to where I rebuilt one on a YFZ450R. And even though it's a little bit different than this one because it doesn't have a float and a few other things, it'll still give you an idea of what you're in store for. But if you rebuild them, be sure to also replace the fuel pressure regulator. Some rebuild kits will only come with the motor and the rubber seals and maybe the hose, but not a fuel pressure regulator, and some kits come with both. So if you buy a kit with only the motor, also eBay search, Google search, or just look around Amazon or whatever and also find the fuel pressure regulator. They're usually pretty cheap. Make sure you get the correct one for your bike that has a proper PSI that your bike needs, but they're usually 15 bucks or so. I find, like on this one right here, I suspect it's actually just the fuel pressure regulator based on the fact that I can hear the motor spinning just fine. But it could also be just a rubber seal in there. We don't know. We wouldn't know unless we took it apart and really looked around at it. But that's why I say, if you want to do it once and be done with it, get the kit that has the motor and the fuel pressure regulator. And if it doesn't include the fuel pressure regulator, buy that separately so you have everything you need to get yours 100%. And again, check down in the description. There'll be a link where I did it on a YFZ450R dirt bike, and it's pretty much about the same thing. For this one, we have a brand new fuel pump right from Yamaha. This costs about $350, and as I'm making this video on this day, they also now currently have some Chinese knockoff complete assembly fuel pumps I saw on eBay for about 200 bucks. Now, I haven't tried one of them before, and so I can't really comment how good they are or reliable they are. I asked the owner of this bike what route he wanted to go, rebuild it, a Chinese knockoff full replacement, or a OEM, and he said he wanted to go with the OEM. So here we are, $350 later, and we have a brand new OEM pump. The nice thing about buying them complete like this is it pretty much covers everything. You don't have to worry about, you know, maybe a cracked line or having to split this thing apart with a bunch of little flat heads. I mean, I've done them a million times and it's not the end of the world, but it does make it easier. It just costs more money. Another nice thing is you get a whole pump. Everything's new, and at least for me, if you're racing these bikes on a track with jumps and stuff, I believe this is a safer route, just going all fresh and new, but that's me personally. Let's go put this on the bike. Okay, let's install the new one. Actually, I'll just remove this. This is the rubber seal for it. I'm just going to clean this up, wipe it down. all this cleaned up around here so we get a good seal. We don't need it leaking gas or anything stupid like that. There we go. Place the rubber seal back on. Alright, let me grab the fuel pump. I'm telling you, these roosters are going freaking nuts. I don't know how we're going to deal with this. Alright, anyway, don't forget, you have the float here. You want to be careful. Don't damage it. Now, the fuel pump only goes in one way, really. And they have these this little knob right here, and right here on the tank, and it kind of makes it where you can't put it, you can't clock it wrong. It makes it where you only can put it in one way properly. There we go. So we have that knob right there, this knob right here, and this knob right here. They're all situated properly. I also want to know if your bike's popping. It runs, but it pops and it balls. Also check your fuel pressure. Sometimes they don't go flat dead like this one does. Sometimes they just get weak and they start giving lower fuel pressure. Maybe it only has 35 or 30, and that'll make the bike run lean, and it'll make it pop. Let me just finish up the rest of the hardware here. Then I'll tighten these down by hand. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and connect it and test it. They put this little thing right here. Where'd the electrical wire go? Here it is. Connection. Connect that back up. First thing I'm going to do is shoot some fuel. I'm just going to let the system prime. So I'm going to turn the switch on, the ignition switch, for a second. There we go. All right. And connect our fuel pressure gauge. Let's see what it reads. Oh! Let me tighten this up. Spraying fuel all over. Let me tighten that up. Okay, it shouldn't be shooting fuel everywhere now. Let's see. There it is. It seems to be reading about 47 psi. Now, like I said, don't go crazy with it. They're usually around 50. And as long as it's between 45 and 55, I find that good. And this is a brand new Yamaha pump, right? But again, all these little cheap pressure gauges, US General, they're not 100% accurate. But it's a brand new pump. We know it's good. All right, let's connect the line up to it. And let's see if she'll bark off. Make sure that plastic safety piece is lifted up still. Slide it all the way on until you hear it click. Push that down, and we are good. All right, let's try firing her up. Actually, first let me replace this thing right here. Them are really convenient to have. Okay, let's fire her up. Seems good to me. So now I got to button it back up, put that cover back on, the seat back on, take it off the battery charger. I'll be right back. Full search. This bike actually does. They claim it's 47 psi, so maybe this gauge is right. But like I said, if yours is anywhere between 45 and 55, it's probably your gauge and it's probably right. Typically, they're right or they're way wrong. That's what I found. Okay, one more test fire. The wrong way. She's good. Now let's go to the next one. Because that's right, I have another one here. Let me go ahead and take the seat off of it, the cover off of it, and put the battery charge on it. Let's check the PSI. Okay, I got the fuel line disconnected. Let's see if it shoots some fuel out. Oh yeah, it shoots fuel out. Okay, let me go get my pressure gauge and see what it reads. Okay, let's see what this one reads. Oh yeah, it reads good. It reads about 49. And let's try it again. There it is. And it holds good too. See, once the fuel pump shuts itself off after a couple seconds, it's holding pressure good. So this is a good pump. Remember what I said, they all can read a little bit different. So don't get too hung up on that as long as the quad runs good. But this quad was brought to me because it doesn't run. And at first I thought it was a fuel pump issue because he said it was popping from time to time. And that's usually a sign that it's running lean and the fuel pump's going out. But apparently fuel pump's doing good. So let's go ahead and reconnect the fuel line and try to start it up. Okay, fuel line's connected. Let's give her a crank. Well, this thing runs. When he first brought it here, I was hitting the start button and it wouldn't even start up and run, so I don't understand. I'll be digging in, but this is a fuel pump video, so I'm not gonna include that in this video. I just want to show you that some can read a little bit differently. I mean, we got that in, and yeah. I did note the check engine light was on, so I'll be looking into that and seeing what's going on there. Well, that's pretty much a wrap for this video on the YFZ450R fuel pump replacement and repair, diagnosis, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys watching this video. This weekend, I will not be riding this weekend, going to Redbud. So I'll see you guys out there. And I hope if you do go riding this weekend, you have a great weekend of riding. I appreciate all my subscribers and my viewers. And if you like this kind of stuff, you know what to do. Catch you in the next video.